Once I figured out and implemented the system that you're about to learn here today, my life changed dramatically. I was able to launch both of these businesses in about 90 days and take each of them to the $1 million mark in a very short period of time. I had a lot more time to rejuvenate, take care of myself, exercise. I felt more energy than I ever had before. And I even lost about 25 pounds kind of accidentally in the process. Okay, it was just a result of me doing these two things every day that you're going to learn here. And most importantly, I felt a lot happier. Okay, I felt more fulfilled. And when I realized what a dramatic transformation that these two things, these two habits had on my life, I started to show it to friends, to colleagues, and eventually, because they were having such great results with this stuff, I decided that I needed to get this out to people who are feeling consistently stressed and overwhelmed with life. And by the way, here's what a few of the people who've gone through this course have had to say after they've started implementing these habits in their life. Eben, thanks to this program, one, I got rid of many unfinished issues I had in my life that were not helping me to progress, that I wasn't aware of. Two, I lost 10 pounds. Three, I've been able finally to incorporate in my life an exercise program that makes me feel good, and most importantly, doing it consistently. Four, I've learned to focus better on the important stuff and what gives leverage to my business, and that's roaming. Stephanie says, I found at least 3 hours of time per day that I didn't even know I had. I've accomplished more for my new business, current business, and writing career in the last 4 months than I have in the last 2 years. I feel less rushed in my workday and more relaxed, even though I'm getting more done. Maritza wrote in to say, I can truly say that this is going to be one of the best years of my life, both professionally, more money coming in, and more projects being completed, and personally, because of doing these things that you're going to learn today. And David says, completely transformed the way I approach my work and my life. It's made a profound contribution to my success. And here's one of my personal favorites. I was skeptical in the beginning because I've been through many productivity and efficiency courses through my corporate jobs, and I thought I had it down pat. I was always known as the get-it-done person at work and felt I was about as efficient and effective as I could be. I was blown away by this course. Not only am I able to get a whole lot more done, but I now feel I can get it done without burning myself out. That was from Jenny. So that gives you an idea of what these two habits can do for you. Now let's take a quick moment and talk about how today's webinar is organized so you can get the most out of it. In part one, we're going to cover what the biggest roadblock to your productivity is right now and why it's not your fault that you're not as productive as you'd like to be. In part two, I'm going to introduce you to the concepts of the inner game of productivity and the first simple thing you can start doing immediately to become more productive. And finally, in part three, I'm going to introduce you to the concept of the outer game of productivity and the second simple thing that you need to do to really increase your productivity. Now, it's critical that you fully understand all three parts to win the game of productivity and get the results that you want in your life. So make sure to stick with me for the entire webinar. Okay, so turn off all the distractions you have around you, turn off your phone or put it on airplane mode, close any of the social media or email, Skype, or any tabs in your browser. Just shut all that stuff down, close the door, turn off anything around you that's making noise. This is important because one of the biggest things that's robbing you of productivity right now is distraction. So we want to turn all that stuff off and also get yourself something to take notes with, okay? Because you're going to be learning a lot of valuable stuff here. And I want you to make sure you write it down in your words so that you can take action on it. Okay, let's move on to part one. Why it's not your fault that you're not as productive as you want to be. We live in a completely distracted society. Most people can't hold their focus for more than a moment. It's gotten so bad that Time magazine reported that a goldfish has a higher attention span than the average person. Okay, in this article, Time magazine reports that people now generally lose concentration after 8 seconds, highlighting the effects of an increasingly digitalized lifestyle on the brain. So think about that. The average person can only hold their focus on one thing for 8 seconds without getting distracted. All right, it's no wonder why most people today are overwhelmed and constantly feeling stressed. All right, but science is kind of figuring out that it's not because we're inferior to humans that lived in the past. It's because of this digital culture that we live in. For example, science has found that our brains are malleable or adaptable or plastic. It's a phenomenon called neuroplasticity. Nicholas Carr wrote a great book on this called The Shallows, How the Internet is Changing Our Brains. And in it, he talks about how technology is impacting our brains. And one surprising thing he mentioned is that research shows that millennials are now more forgetful than senior citizens. Okay, and this is a result of us not focusing. We're always multitasking, we're always doing a bunch of things at once, and we get very distracted. So our brains aren't able to form strong memories of the information that we're taking in. Okay, it goes in a little bit at a time, but it doesn't get retained. Okay, so it just goes right back out again. And the result of all this is that we've become what I like to call a snacking culture. Okay, we flip through videos and channels, we watch a little clip, and then we move on to the next one. We don't listen to entire albums of music or even entire songs anymore. Sometimes we just listen to our favorite part of the song for a few seconds and then move on. Instead of eating a solid, healthy, nutritious meal, many of us just snack through the day mindlessly. And what do we eat? We usually eat things that aren't that good for our health. And this is why traditional productivity methods like setting goals and creating to-do lists and then figuring out our priorities, this stuff just doesn't really work anymore. We live in an age where technology and information are multiplying exponentially. We have far more to learn and digest today than people did just a few years ago. And that's why to-do lists and the big planners that you used to carry around, they just don't work for most people. They don't address the rapid nature of change. In order to keep up, you can't attack the problem with techniques that are outdated. If we use the old methods of productivity, okay, it's like trying to go across America from New York to Los Angeles, but instead of taking a plane or even a car, it would be like taking an old horse and buggy to get there. Okay, it's outdated if it works at all, and it would be, after a lot of stress and frustration and wasted time. So this is why, okay, just like there's too much month at the end of the money for some people, there are too many to-dos left at the end of each day for most of us, right? And it feels like we can never keep up. Have you ever been up at night just thinking about everything you have to do? Okay, like laying in bed and you can't go to sleep because you're just thinking about all the stuff you have to do that you don't want to forget? A lot of us can't turn off our minds, okay? We just can't shut our brains off. And this is part of the reason why we get into these distraction behaviors, sometimes like eating mindlessly or even drinking or zoning out in front of the TV, just in an attempt to get a distraction or a relaxation or a release of the stress. But as you've already seen, that doesn't work, okay? And eventually, a lot of people try doing multitasking. People even brag about multitasking, doing a bunch of things at once. People will say, I'm a multitasker, like it's something to brag about. We think we're getting more done by multitasking. We're doing a lot of things at once, but the truth is that task switching is inefficient. Okay, those gaps where we switch, they cost us a lot, and it's why distraction and interruption cost so much. All right, so let me give you a pop quiz. If you're doing something and you're interrupted in the middle of it, once you go back to doing it again, how long does it take you to get back to where you were when you were interrupted? Okay, so I'll say it again. If you're doing something, if you're doing a task or an activity, and you're interrupted in the middle of it, and once you come back and you start doing it again, how long does it take you to get back to where you were when you were interrupted? Any guesses on average? Well, get this. It takes about 20 minutes to get back to where you were before you were interrupted on average. So if you're interrupted every 20 minutes during your day, you'll end a day having gotten nothing productive done. Right? Have you been there? Do you live there now? Okay, so these are some of the issues that we're facing. And if traditional methods of productivity like to-do lists and planners don't work, then what does? Well, that's what we're going to take a look at now in part 2. Okay, so part 2 is called Inner Game of Productivity. And I want to start this section off by giving you an anecdote that the motivational speaker Zig Ziglar used to say a lot. Right? Have you ever noticed how when you're about to go on vacation, you get an incredible amount of things done the day before you leave? Okay, so who's had that experience, right? Anyone had that experience? The day before your vacation, you become a productivity monster, and you get done everything in one day. You get, many times what you would normally get done. Maybe you get a week's worth or 2 weeks worth of work done in one day. So why is it that most of us don't have days like that all the time? What is it about human nature that makes us not do that by default? Well, it's because we haven't mastered the inner game of productivity. Okay, the mindsets and the motivations inside of us that can cause us to act and be productive. Stephen Covey, the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right, he says it best. He says time management is a misnomer. The challenge is not to manage time, but to manage ourselves. And that's why it's critical that we get this inner game part mastered. It's about getting your head straight so there's no friction or resistance when it comes time to take action on those things that will give you the highest leverage, the highest results for your valuable time. And the first of 2 things that I'm going to share with you today is one that will help you get this inner game together. And I just mentioned Stephen Covey, right? He likes to say that public victory is always preceded by private victory, right? So internal success always comes before external success. And in fact, my opinion is that you should only be doing one of 2 things at any given time in your life. Okay, you should only be doing one of 2 things. Number 1, doing what you're great at, that you really enjoy doing, that creates massive value for others. Okay, that thing that you're passionate about, you're talented, that provides high value to others, and that you get paid a lot to do. Okay, that's one thing. And the other is disconnecting and recharging your mind, your body, emotions. In other words, taking time off, unplugged, to rejuvenate and re-energize. A high quality time re-energize. You should only do one of those 2 things, right? Focused on the things you're great at, that earn you the most. And number 2, focused on completely unplugging and rejuvenating and doing what you enjoy. And that leads me to the first of these 2 things you need to do in order to become far more productive than you ever thought possible and have this superpower to slow down time and create more control and more freedom. So what is it? Well, the first thing is create a personal success ritual. Okay, so productivity starts with recharging yourself. Okay, it actually starts with recharging yourself, taking care of yourself first. Like, have you been on an airplane and they say to put on your mask before trying to help someone else put their mask on next to you? In order for you to be productive and achieve the results you want in your life, you've got to take time for you to recharge yourself physically, emotionally, mentally. Okay, so no rejuvenation, no energy. No energy, no focus. If you don't have focus, you can't get into flow and you can't be productive. Okay, so that's why for this first thing, I want you to create a personal ritual for yourself, something that you do every day to take care of yourself. Now, I realize that this might sound counterintuitive to spend time doing something that isn't on a to-do list or that's a productive task that moves you towards your goals. But it's a small investment of time that pays huge dividends, and I'll explain why in a moment, but here's what I want you to do. Okay, so start off by doing some kind of exercise that gets your body moving. Okay, get your heart pumping, break a sweat, ideally 20 minutes of exercise, and make it something you enjoy. Okay, maybe it's playing a quick pickup game of basketball, or going for a walk in your neighborhood, a kind of brisk walk for 20 minutes, or maybe going out to the beach and walking around to see the sunrise. Whatever you do, make sure it's something that you can stick with and you'll enjoy doing. Next, right, in your little personal success ritual, I'd like you to do something to recharge yourself emotionally. So after you've exercised, this could be something like listening to music you love, or keeping a gratitude journal where you write down the things that you're grateful for in your life, or maybe spending a little bit of time doing a hobby you enjoy, like maybe playing guitar or doing some art. And then finally, when you're done with that, it's time to do something to recharge yourself mentally. Now, this could be a meditation for 5 or 10 minutes, or maybe reading something that inspires you or that's positive that you learn from, or anything else that will get your mind thinking positive, encouraging thoughts that will quiet down the chatter that goes on every day. Now, in all, your personal success ritual, where you recharge your body, your emotions, your mind, it should take 60 to 90 minutes. All right, now let's say that you work from 9 to 5 for this example. I'm going to suggest that you wake up a little earlier, okay, and you do this first thing to prioritize yourself and your success first, right? Before you do anything else, before you check your email, before you check your messages, you don't go get on everyone else's agenda. You do this first. Now, you may have to do it later in the day. It might not be practical, but if you can, try to do it first thing. You might even do it during a lunch break, or maybe you have to do it later in the evening before you go to bed. You can be flexible to create something that works for you, but more importantly, it has to be something that you do daily. The point is to take time out for yourself every day for self-care, to recharge, so you can do what needs to get done and have the energy and the focus and do it more effectively. If you're a business owner, right, I really suggest doing this first thing in the morning before your day starts. It may sound simple, okay, to create a routine where you exercise a little bit, take care of yourself, but it's so crucial to dramatically increasing your productivity over time. This is a game changer. It also gives you the needed energy so you can focus, okay, so you can get yourself to do the things that you need to, that you need to do. So you can have every day be like those days just before a vacation comes up where you become almost superhuman in the things that you're able to get done. And remember what I said, right? We don't go check our messages and our email and all that stuff first because that gets us on everyone else's agenda. The first thing we do is a ritual to recharge ourselves physically, emotionally, and mentally. And what happens when you're doing that, when you're recharging yourself, when you're doing that 20 minutes of exercise and a little bit of reading and maybe some meditation or a hobby, when you take that hour, that 90 minutes, when you prioritize your emotional and mental and physical health first, that's when you have the insight about what you need to do that day. That's the most important thing to do. So when you come into your work, you come into actually doing the things that are going to create the value and produce the income in your life, you have clarity about the thing that you need to get done that day, okay? Because you got some perspective. When you start by checking your messages, your mind gets fragmented, you get on everyone else's agenda, and you don't remember what to do to make yourself successful. All right, so remember, success, productivity, getting the results you want starts with recharging yourself and making you strong first. And I know that if you put this into place, you can experience your own transformation, okay? Even if you just did this one thing every day, you would be more productive because you'd feel more refreshed, energized, and rejuvenated starting immediately. In fact, many of my students who have learned this first technique, they say that it's given them the energy and the focus that they needed to build the online business that they've always wanted. That's why at the end of our class, I'll be giving you free access to my book, How to Create a Digital Product That Sells Itself, because once you put this habit in place, along with the next one that I'll show you, you'll have the productivity muscles that you need to succeed at building your online business. You'll have the missing piece that most people who only dream of starting an information business need to get started. So make sure to hang with me until the end so you can download your free copy of my ebook. Okay, so at this point, you've got your success ritual going. You've got your personal success ritual. Now it's time to work on the outer game of productivity. And this is where we'll get into the nitty-gritty details of what you're going to do in order to be more effective and start getting the results you want in your life and your business and get on the path to having more free time than you thought was possible. Okay, part 3, the outer game of productivity. How do we increase our productivity when we're already working at maximum capacity? How do we take more time off to get the rejuvenation we need even when we have so much to do? Okay, and how do we deal with distractions and interruptions that take us away from the true work that can make a difference in our lives? How can we systematize our productivity so it happens on autopilot without extra effort, excess willpower, or superhuman discipline? And finally, how do we identify those activities in your life and business that give us the highest possible return and make us the most possible profit and income? That's what we're going to cover in this section of the training. All right, so to start with, I want to cover what's called the Pareto principle, or you maybe have heard it called the 80-20 rule. Right? You've probably heard of this, and basically it's named after an Italian economist, Vilfredo Pareto, who started noticing an interesting pattern out in reality. Okay, so he looked around and he noticed, for example, that 80% of the peas in his garden were in 20% of the pea pods. He looked around and he noticed that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the people. And as he kept looking around, he observed that this ratio held true in everything from business to economics to scientific discoveries, and of course, it holds true in personal productivity. And what this rule means to you is that 80% of the results you're getting now, at this moment in your life, are coming from just 20% of your actions. Okay, so 80% of the results you're getting, they're coming from only 20% of your actions. Most of your success is coming from just a little bit of your effort. Now let's take this concept a little further. Right? I mentioned Stephen Covey before. Have you ever heard him talking about you have to put the big rocks into your day first, otherwise they won't go in? So he'll show a picture of a big fish tank on a table, and he's got some big rocks that are maybe the size of a fist, and then some smaller rocks, and then some pebbles, and then some sand. Okay, so 4 different sizes of rocks. And so what he does first is he'll put all the sand in the tank, and then he'll put the little pebbles, and then the medium-sized rocks, and then he tries to put in the big rocks. And you see that he can't put the big rocks in because all the smaller ones filled up all the space. Okay, so he can't fit them in and he can't push them in. But then what he does is another demonstration where he takes the big rocks and he puts them in the tank first, and he fits them all. And then he puts in the smaller rocks, and then the pebbles, and then he pours in all of the sand. And you see that as they get smaller, they fit in the spaces between the big rocks. And the lesson is that if you don't put the big rocks in first, you can never fit them in. And the interesting thing about the big rocks is that they have to be chosen in advance. Okay, in other words, you must identify what your most valuable activities are and then install them in your day ahead of time. If you don't, other people will have things for you to do. Okay, other people will take your attention. And I can almost guarantee that the other things that other people have for you are less important, but in the moment, right, they seem a lot more urgent. So you got to put the big rocks in first, and importantly, you've got to know what those big rocks are. Okay, and we're going to do an exercise in a moment to identify what they are. So just kind of keep this idea in mind. Now, another important mindset about success and productivity is something I learned from Warren Buffett. Okay, he's the most successful investor of all time, a multi-billionaire, worth $70-something billion and one of the richest people in the world. Now, Warren and his partner, okay, they made their big money with investments, and they have a strategy that kind of transfers or maps over particularly well to the domain of productivity. All right, so you know what the number one thing that Warren Buffett takes into consideration when making an investment? Okay, what's his number one consideration when he's making one of these big investments? Okay, here's a hint. It's not the price of the investment. It's not the projected gain of the investment. And it's not the risk level of the investment. All right, any guesses? What does Warren Buffett consider first? Okay, so here's what it is. Warren Buffett's number one criteria when making an investment is opportunity cost. Okay, so what's opportunity cost? It's asking, what other things could I be investing in with the money? What are the other opportunities that are out there? And opportunity cost is, what's it costing me in terms of other opportunities that I could be using this money for? If there's a better place to be investing the money, then it doesn't matter what the price or the risk or the return on the investment is, because there's something better that could have been done with his money. Now, when you take an opportunity cost mindset and you ask yourself if there's something better that you could be investing your money in, then the best opportunities start to reveal themselves to you. Well, this is exactly the mindset we need to take when approaching our productivity. When choosing which activities to do in our lives and our businesses, we shouldn't just be thinking about the results of the activity. We should be thinking about the results we would get if we focused on and did the highest value activity, the best activity. That's what we should be comparing to. And one of the biggest mistakes people, especially business owners, make when deciding what to do each day is getting into actions without knowing the value of the action to them. Okay, and especially the value in the long term. So not knowing the difference between an activity that's only going to give you a little bit of results or an activity that's going to increase the value of your business and give you bigger results and bigger money and pay you dividends and profits for the long term. My good friend and mentor Wyatt Woodsmall, he has a great saying. He says, it's what you're doing when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's the problem, okay? It's what you're doing when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's the problem. And that's opportunity cost. And for most of us, we haven't gotten crystal clear on the handful of activities that bring us the highest returns, okay, that profit us the most, and then organizing our days and our weeks and our lives around making sure those activities get done. So I'd like to introduce you to a tool that I've designed that you can use to pinpoint the highest value, highest return money-making activities that you do so you can focus on them with your attention and your time. And I call it the productivity pyramid. Now I'm going to play a quick video for you of me explaining the productivity pyramid that I recorded for one of my training programs. And I recommend you have something to take notes with, okay, so you can follow along and take notes. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we'll start by drawing a pyramid like this, and we'll break it into 4 levels. You know, the first level is 0 or negative value time. Now this is time that we spend wasting on things that don't bring us any value or actually take our energy and attention away from us, okay, 0 or negative value. Next is we have low dollar per hour value activities. And these are activities that bring us a low dollar per hour return. Things like shopping, checking the mail, that kind of stuff. The next activity is high dollar per hour time.
Okay, so this is activities that bring us in a high return on our investment immediately. Okay, so this might be things like talking to customers, doing sales, working on some marketing copy, etc. Okay, that brings us money right now, and it's high dollar per hour value. And then the highest level is what we'll call high lifetime value. And these are activities that pay you for the long term. They keep paying dividends on and on for years, decades, sometimes even for life. Now these would be activities like working on investing or maybe hiring someone that will help you build your business. And these are very, very high leverage activities that will pay you for life.
So again, zero or negative value activities, things that take time and energy and give you nothing in return. Okay, these are things like eating junk food or reading email or messages, checking the news. And then there are lower dollar per hour activities, things like scheduling appointments or running errands, etc. Then you have your high dollar per hour value activities.
Please.
Okay, these are very important because they pay you big, they give you a big return, and they pay you back quickly. In business, for example, this could be doing something like getting new customers, doing sales conversations, or writing marketing copy, or getting new partners to help you sell your products for you. And then we have the high lifetime value activities at the top of the pyramid. And these are things that keep paying you over the long term. In business, this could be something like developing the next product or improving the product you have, or hiring superstar A-player people to help you grow your business. It could be investing in something that's long-term. On the personal side, this could be exercising or learning something new or getting a mentor to help you reach the next level. And here's the key. By identifying which activities bring you the most value, you can begin to make these the biggest priority each day. Okay, these become your big rocks. So once you have a good idea of what your highest value activities are, the ones that give you the biggest leverage, okay, these are the 20% of the actions that give you the 80% of your results. So once you have a good idea of what your highest value activities are, okay, the ones that give you the biggest leverage, right, the ones that are the 20% of actions that give you the 80% of your results, then it's time to have a structure in which you do them, which sets us up for the second thing that will help you double your productivity. Remember when I said that distraction and interruption are costing us a lot in our lives? Well, when it comes to our business, distraction and interruption are really costing us a lot, okay, and I mean literally. In our work, they cost us money, and that's important. So keep in mind as you learn what I'm about to explain that we're talking about not just your time, but your money here. So the next technique I want to introduce you to is a method I call the 60-60-30 solution. And to put it simply, this is where you work for 2 focused blocks of 60 minutes on your highest value, highest return activities, and then you take a 30-minute break. Okay, so the 2 60-minute chunks in a row, they give you that focused block of uninterrupted time to work on your highest value-creating activities. Again, 2-hour-long chunks. And this is long enough to get a lot done, but it's not so long that it's, going to become boring or torture. And then the 30 minutes is break time. So you take advantage of the body's natural cycle of focus and relaxation. You have a rise in energy that you can focus for about 90 to 120 minutes. And then you have a dip in energy. That's where the 30 minutes comes in. So you do a little mini rejuvenation after you work so hard, and you give your brain a break. It's a huge mistake to power through the day and not take breaks. A lot of people work a couple of hours and then start to feel tired, and instead of taking a break and rejuvenating, they just stay at it. They work harder, maybe they drink some caffeine, and they just wind up burning themselves out. So again, it's natural for a human being every 90 to 120 minutes to experience a dip in energy. It's important to honor that, which is why we have the 30-minute break after those 2 long-hour chunks. Okay, 60-60-30 solution. Now the other tip that I have for you is to take a little tiny break in between each of the hour-long chunks. So what you do is you work for 55 minutes, and then you take a quick 5-minute break to re-energize yourself before your next hour session. And I recommend you use a timer. You set it for 55 minutes, and you can work undistracted, and you know the timer will go off, and get it done. This way you don't have to worry if you're going to go over time. And by doing this, right, you're in a focused state during the 60 part of the
Hello there. I'm just calling because I received an email about our flights being changed, from Vancouver going to Bangkok, and it says that due to operational requirements, the schedule has changed and it resulted in a disconnection with another flight.
Okay, this is a huge piece to take that down. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. And to recap, the two things that will help double your productivity are, number one, create a personal success ritual, and two, identify your highest value activities.
Booking reference is V for Victor,
and then work on them.
N for Nancy, A for Andy, S for Sam,
I want you to think of these two things kind of like, exercising or creating.
Taylor?
Just because you go to the gym one day and work out, it doesn't mean you're going to be fit for life. Okay, just because you eat one meal, it doesn't mean that you're now healthy. You've got to be consistent with it. You need to turn it into a habit, right? Something that you do automatically. Which is why I want to introduce two bonus concepts for you that will help you do these two things on autopilot. So have you ever been to a seminar or read a book that could really help you move forward in your life? You got all excited, and you maybe even followed the advice that you got once or twice. But then, as it happens, right, you might have had your motivation start to wear off, and within a short period of time, you stop doing the things that you were excited about just a few days earlier. And eventually, you forgot that you ever even learned this stuff. Okay, well, we've all had this happen at one point or another in our lives, and that's why I don't want this to happen for you with these two things that you learned that can have a dramatic impact on your life. The key is to do them consistently every day, and the way to do that is through habit. But in order to be effective
it says
we've got to understand a few concepts.
Change to the following flights is CX838, 18th of January.
The authors of the book,
it says 8.
Okay, we only get a little bit of willpower each day. It gives us the power to do things like make decisions, or resist eating tempting foods, or having distractions. Right? It gives us a little power to do the things.
Yeah, it says the 18th.
And the only problem is we only get a little tiny bit of willpower, and we usually waste it on things that don't do us any good in the long run. And then we run out of willpower as we get into our day, and instead of then doing the high-value activities, we kind of just zone out and do our default, all right? We take the path of least resistance. And then what happens, right? Well, we think, oh, later today I'll get to those important things, but then we run out of willpower, and we get to later in the day, we go, oh, okay, I'll just check my messages and just distract with some other stuff. Okay, I'm sure you've been there. You know what I'm talking about. So, how do you invest this little bit of willpower that you get wisely? Well, it's not forcing yourself to do specific activities, or making yourself do something. Instead, you want to invest your willpower creating new habits. And once you have a habit, it then becomes automatic. You don't have to think about it. And eventually, the habit that you installed, it becomes the default, right? It becomes, again, your path of least resistance. We're all creatures of habit. We all basically do the same things at the same time every day with little bits of variations. But when you create a habit, okay, when you use your willpower to create the habit,
we can leave later at night then.
Created, it happens automatically, and then you can take your willpower and go create another habit. But when it comes to creating habits, sometimes it can be tough. It takes a lot of energy to do it.
Okay, 7:10 p.m. Okay, and then what time would we arrive in Vancouver?
From another clip from a training video that I recorded that explains this process and this phenomenon in a little more detail. Okay, so watch this.
Have you ever seen what it looks like when they launch the space shuttle into space?
Okay, how long is the
shuttle is
layover?
riding on this giant rocket. Okay?
Yeah.
And that rocket weighs like 5 times as much as the space shuttle
Okay,
itself.
perfect. Sounds good.
And that rocket, that big bomb essentially that's firing, it's designed to help the space shuttle to launch.
Okay, one second. Let me just double
Get
check.
up to speed and reach
On the
what's
18th,
called
do you want to
escape
leave
velocity.
in the morning or at
So it
night?
can
It's
escape
either
from the
8:30 in the
tremendous
morning or
pull
7:30 at
of
night.
Earth's gravity. that
Morning.
wants to pull it
Oh,
back
you
down.
prefer morning? Okay, so
So that
actually,
big
can we
rocket
change it
fires
to 8:30 in the
only
morning?
a couple of minutes, like 2 minutes.
Or
It
8:20,
gets the
sorry.
space shuttle
Yeah.
something like 26 miles up into space. And
Sorry.
very importantly, it gets it going fast enough that it can get up into orbit, okay, so it can detach them.
That's the Monday, right?
Then the space shuttle, it only needs a little bit of power once in a while from the tiny engines that it carries to navigate around to do its mission and then to get home. Okay? It doesn't need to overcome the huge gravity pull of Earth anymore, so it can focus on what it's there to do, which needs a lot less energy. And habits are like this. So let's go to the board, and I'll show you what I mean. This is a concept that I call habit gravity and escape velocity.
No, evening.
So when you
Oh,
start
sorry, my husband changed his mind
I thought
again.
you were leaving, you didn't.
He wants the evening flight, sorry.
Sorry,
You're
yeah.
enthused, you're excited, you have motivation.
Sorry.
But then very quickly, as you come through this curve,
Yeah, decided,
become
evening,
much
yeah, coming back.
Coming
We
back, yeah.
prefer the night,
you
yeah.
become frustrated, you even start to become defiant. Okay? So this may be first 10 days or so. First 2 days are easier, and then you hit rapid resistance on the way up. And the gravity of the old habits is trying to pull you back down. Okay? If you stick with it here, this next phase here, this next maybe 10 days or so, this is where you start you feel the pull of the gravity, you feel the resistance, the kind of general resistance. You've gotten over the real frustration, but again, it's very strong resistance. You've got to stay with it for kind of this next 10 days or so. And then for your final 10 days here, you reach what I call escape velocity.
Let's see if it says on my itinerary.
You've been doing the habit for long enough that you get over the hill, and then it starts to become downhill, and it becomes a lot easier from there. Okay, so this is what I call habit gravity and escape velocity. And unless you're ready for this when you're creating a new habit, it's very, very challenging because it's easy to give up.
Okay, so now you have the two things that can help you double the results you get every day. But the key moving forward is going to be turning them into habits. So we really get that.
Okay, perfect.
At the beginning of this webinar, remember when I said that you'll learn two things today? And if you do these two things every day for the next 90 days, that will double your productivity. That's the key here, doing them every day. Okay, you have to turn these into habits. Hopefully you can see, and you get right now, if you did these two things, your personal success ritual and your 60-60-30, if you did those every single day for the next 90 days, you would probably double your productivity, and you can feel that right now. Now, in my experience, maybe 1 in 10 people that are with me on this webinar right now are actually going to do it. Okay, maybe 10% are serious enough about their success to follow through and to turn these into habits. Like to really actually do it. Now, if you are that 1 in 10 person who's serious about getting more control over your life, experiencing more freedom, and really conquering the feelings of stress and overwhelm, then I'd like to invite you to join me in a 90-day training program that I've created that will help you install these two things as permanent habits in your life. Because it's one thing to know what to do, and it's a completely different thing to know how to get yourself to do the thing that can make that huge impact on the quality of your life and on your success. All right? So with that in mind, I want to invite you to join me in my Wake Up Productive virtual course for the next 90 days. Together, we will install these two habits that will serve you for the rest of your life. And the result will be that in 90 days, okay, I guarantee that you'll wake up twice as productive as you are now. Okay, the course is called Wake Up Productive, and at the end of 90 days, that's exactly what happens. You wake up and you start out your day being productive. And more importantly, you'll know how to get the results that you want in your life instead of doing what other people want you to do. So you'll have that superpower that we talked about at the start of the webinar. You'll be able to slow down time and get what you need to get done quickly and efficiently, and then have the free time you need for the things that matter to you. So just think, if you're a business owner, 90 days from now, you could wake up and get most of your important high-value activities done automatically, because again, they're a habit and they're in the path of least resistance. And then your workday could be done, you could be done by noon or in the early afternoon. You could take the rest of the day off. You could go, play golf, go hang out with your friends. You could do other things, work on other important projects. Or you could take a class or do a hobby that you want to start, or maybe just spend more time with your friends or your family. Okay, it's that powerful. If you work at a job, this can help you become more valuable to your company. It can set you up for a promotion. You can use what you learned to start a side business. And you can, eventually have that could, go on to replace what you do right now and give you a lot more freedom and control over your life. And in Wake Up Productive, we're going to help install these two productivity habits for you. Okay, you're going to learn how to train your brain in order to build your focus muscles. You'll learn how to experience a new level of peace and balance in your life while removing the things that are causing you feelings of stress and anxiety and overwhelm. And by the end of this course, you'll know exactly how to extract twice as much value from every single hour than you do now, effectively doubling the time that you have to do with as you please. Just like these folks, and here are a few more comments from people that have gone through this course. I was absolutely amazed at the new mindsets and how positively this has impacted me in all aspects of my life, both business and personal. The program has enabled me to be many times more productive. I could easily say that I'm 10x more productive than ever before. I used to think of myself as productive, and after taking Evan's program, my definition of productive was redefined. That's from Andre. Wake Up Productive is the definitive productivity program. I gained invaluable techniques for greater effectiveness in my daily life, as well as a shift in mindset to be more intentional. That's from Clark. In the past 2 years since I purchased the Wake Up Productive program, I can comfortably say that it has helped me to more than triple my income. This program helped me to understand a lot about energy and being effective in the things you are doing in life, as well as the importance of rejuvenation and renewal. That's from Kellen. I rate the whole course as excellent. A great system that sorted out my chaotic life, gave me the structure and discipline to move forward, and surprised myself by achieving far more during my week than ever before. Thoroughly recommended taking the course if you find yourself bogged down in short of time. That's Richard. Not only did it provide valuable time-saving tools, but it got to the heart of what causes us to procrastinate, overeat, have anxiety, and all the little time wasters that occur through habit and emotional states. I highly recommend for anyone wanting to change and improve their life. Not only will they become more efficient with the time, but they'll also feel better and be healthier. This program is a grand slam, Michael. So here's how the Wake Up Productive course works. As soon as you start today, you get instant access to the training, and you'll start with an orientation video. This will give you the core mindsets and the foundation that you need to understand in order to get the most out of these 2 habits that we're going to install. And in this introduction video, which
I don't need tons of food, so
get the 12 key principles
just
of
reasonable.
productivity. Okay, if these 12 principles, if you just follow these alone, you can completely revolutionize your ability to get the results that you want. Next, you're going to go through 5 fast start videos that you'll go through 1 per day for the next 5 days. These are super quick, okay, 7-minute, 10-minute videos. You'll go through each of these videos and they'll get you up to speed before we dive into the rest of the program. In Fast Start Session 1, okay, we get you to eliminate mental clutter. We all have so much going on in our minds, it's no wonder that we get distracted. And this short video will give you a powerful exercise for clearing your mind and wiping the slate clean so you feel more relaxed and mentally lighter instantly. In Fast Start Session 2, I'll take you through an exercise that will help you close what I call open loops in your life. And these open loops, they rob us of so much energy and so much willpower. Okay, so we want to identify them. You want to start closing these loops. It's critical to do this so that you can start becoming productive. In Fast Start 3, we learn about an area where we lose track of what we're doing and we just can't enjoy pure experience. Okay, it's like being on vacation, but you're always thinking about work, or doing work and thinking about being on vacation. And I'll help you separate it all so you can begin to experience clean states and experience more joy and fulfillment as a result. In Fast Start Session 4, we're going to eliminate all of your energy robbers. Unless we're aware of them, right, we all have energy leeches that quietly siphon off our energy each day. It's why at the end of the day, we often feel wiped out. And in Fast Start Session 4, we'll identify what the energy robbers are in your life, and then we'll get rid of them. And then finally, in Fast Start Session 5, we're going to help you gain awareness and get what I call altitude on your life. By the end of the session, right, you'll have new clarity on what matters in your life and what will give you a sense of fulfillment. Now, once you've gone through these 5 fast starts, it's time to dive into the weekly trainings, the main content of the Wake Up Productive course. Now, each week in Wake Up Productive,
I'm going to be about 10 more minutes.
Video that's about 20 minutes or so.
So do you not want me to pour the soup in yet
and
then?
this goes for the rest of the 12
oh, it's fine. It'll cool off. It's really hot, right?
And if you follow the videos and the exercises, at the end of those 12 weeks, you'll wake up twice as productive as you are now, because we will have turned these 2 things into a habit. In weeks 1 through 4, we're going to focus on the inner game of productivity and helping you install the first thing, your personal success ritual. In week 1, we'll go deeper into the personal success ritual and really help you get it nailed down. We're going to design a powerful personal success ritual. And this is super important, okay? Super important to your productivity. In week 2, we'll cover what I call the inner butterfly effect, and we'll learn how to become less distracted and more focused. In week 3, we're going to learn how to have focus without resistance, okay, without friction. And we're also going to get rid of, once and for all, what I call your success prevention department. Okay, that's the part of you that, that likes to sabotage your efforts wherever you start moving in the direction of your dreams and your goals. But we're going to get rid of that. We're going to stop preventing our own success. And then in week 4, we're going to start building our focus muscles. And we're going to learn how to focus that gets us ready for our next program. So by this point, you're going to have your success ritual down. You'll start feeling more energy, a lot more in control, and you're going to be more happy, more fulfilled. And we've only done the first part of the program. Okay, but I want you to have it all so you can achieve what you want in life and have habits that are going to create success and serve you for the rest of your life. Which is why at this point in the program, we shift over and dive deep into the outer game of productivity. So in week 5, we go into the 60-60-30 solution in a lot more detail. And by the time you're done with week 5's training, you will have a deeper guiding philosophy, and you'll have a system for managing your time at work for getting the most results. Okay, you'll know how to enter what they call the zone and feel energized and focused while doing it. In week 6, we're going to really help deeply installing our habits by learning how to plan them out in detail. You'll learn why trying to remember to
Just leave mine over there. Is that yours?
Yeah. When it comes to creating habits, and you'll learn about how to go into what I call design time to create something that will help you over the course of your entire life. In week 7, we're going to learn how to start experiencing what I call clean states. Clean states, so that we feel focused and present, not like we're distracted doing a million things. You'll also discover what I call enlightened multitasking, okay? Because there are some times that we have to switch tasks very quickly. We have to do some calls and do some messages and do a couple of quick things. Okay? I'll teach you how to do it in a way I call enlightened multitasking, and how to actually do it in a way that improves the quality of your life by staying focused and productive. And then in week 8, we're going to dive deep into the productivity pyramid and learn to cycle it as we go up leveling in our lives. We're going to learn to identify those things in our lives and our business that when we do them, they give us the highest rewards, the highest financial rewards, the highest long-term rewards, and then put them into our system so we do them every day. By this point, you'll have the 2 habits, and you'll start to reach escape velocity, where these 2 habits are becoming second nature to you and automatic. And then, in the last portion of the Wake Up Productive course, we're going to learn the secrets of what I call the higher game of productivity. And in week 9, you learn the keys to having high energy. And you'll learn about the dark side of success and how you need to be aware of it and to steer clear of it. You'll also learn how to manage your emotions so you can deal with emotional obstacles and challenges that come your way as you become more and more productive. In week 10, you discover one of the most valuable concepts that I've ever learned in terms of developing habits.
Come on, buddy.
It's something that I call inevitability thinking. And by the time you're finished with week 10, you will learn how to imagine an outcome you want and then practically guarantee that it will happen. How to set things up so that the outcome that you want to have happen happens automatically. In week 11, you'll learn the secret to transforming emotions and how to literally create the next level version of you. Basically, you 2.0. We're going to imagine your whole life transform. And then in week 12, in our last week, we're going to go and discover your true purpose in life. You're going to go through a very powerful exercise, and then you're going to take everything that you learned in Wake Up Productive, and you're going to focus on that purpose like a laser beam. So you use all of these tools to not only create a lot of results and a lot of success, also feel on purpose, and you make the impact that you want to make, the contribution that you want to make with your life. So if you're ready to do this, if you're committed to getting to the next level of your life, your career, your business, your income, your freedom, then I want to invite you to join me today in Wake Up Productive, and get immediate access and start today increasing your productivity. And because you're on this radio with me, I want to tell you about some great bonuses that I have for you when you enroll today. Because, as they say, time is money, and we're increasing our productivity in order to create more success, I want you to have my money psychology course. This program is designed to help you win the inner game of money by showing you how successful people think about money and use it to build wealth. Over the course of the 10 sessions inside of Money Psychology, plus one bonus session, you're going to discover how to build a money mastermind. You're going to learn about why your money mindset is important. You're going to learn how to create the motivation that do the things that build your income. and you're going to learn much, much more. Now, this course is $197 if you enroll in it separately, but when you join Wake Up Productive today through this webinar, I'm going to buy you a copy and I'm going to include it to help you succeed and become more productive in your financial life. Next, you're also going to get my program, Turning Your Talent into Income. Now, this course helps you identify your natural gifts and talents and then connect them to the biggest opportunities in business that exist now to create higher income for yourself. Now, this is especially good if you're working in a job, but you want to create extra income or completely leave your job by starting your own business. If you're already an entrepreneur, it could serve as the basis of new business ideas, new products, new services, and it can really help you identify the areas in your business that you can grow results in because you have these hidden talents and gifts. It helps you identify what your talents, what your gifts are, and then connect them up to the biggest success, profit, and money opportunities inside a business. Now, the Turning Your Talent into Income course is also $197 tuition. But when you join Wake Up Productive today through this webinar, I'm going to include access to that course as well. When you register today, you'll also get my business training program, How to Be an Entrepreneur. Now, whether you're already a business owner or you're getting ready to launch a business, this program walks you through the principles and strategies and techniques you need to quickly succeed and to grow your business very rapidly. Inside of How to Be an Entrepreneur, you'll discover how to be more creative in business. You'll learn how to be more productive inside of your business. You'll learn how to innovate. You'll learn how to create valuable products and services. You'll learn how to get inside the psychology of your customers to understand what they want to buy and then create that for them in the form of products and services. Also communicate it with your marketing, with your sales, and you learn much, much more. I invested 2 years creating the material in this course, and it is the most condensed course that I have for how to succeed launching and building your own business. And these are proven gems of wisdom. They're like having a seasoned business mentor by your side, guiding you as you're starting out and as you're building a business. This course is also $197, but again, I'm going to pay your tuition for it and include it, and you'll have instant access as soon as you register for Wake Up Productive today. And finally, the bonus I'm most excited to give you when you register today is a valuable business growth training specifically designed for Wake Up Productive students who are also interested in business and entrepreneurship. Now, this 7-week additional video training, it covers the key business principles and how they relate with the concepts that you learn in Wake Up Productive. So if you're building a business or you want to start one and build one, this bonus training, this additional course is a must. It's over 7 hours of additional training on things like how to future-proof your business, how to find the right balance of structure and freedom in your life and business, how to get the motivation that you need to get to the next level. It takes the principles inside of Wake Up Productive and specifically applies them to building a business. Now, I've never offered this training separately. If you follow my work, you know that I'm known for my premium business courses where the tuition is typically thousands of dollars. Okay, so this 7-part business growth training, it's a very valuable bonus, especially when you combine it with the other things that you're going to learn inside of Wake Up Productive. Okay, and I'm going to include this today. I'm also going to include this when you register for Wake Up Productive. Okay, so let's recap. When you enroll in Wake Up Productive today, from this webinar, you get the Wake Up Productive program. It includes your orientation video, your sessions, 12 weeks of the video course, and you get all the exercises that you do that help you imprint the material faster and build these habits. Then, in addition to the main program, you get these bonuses for joining through this webinar. Number 1, you get Money Psychology, which is $197 tuition. You get Turning Your Talent into Income, which is also separately $197 tuition. You get my How to Be an Entrepreneur course, also $197 tuition. And then you get my Wake Up Productive Business Growth Training, also separately $197 tuition value. In all, that's a combined $788 value in bonuses you're getting today. Now, the regular price for the Wake Up Productive Business Edition is $497. Okay, that's the regular price for this course if you go to my website and enroll. But if you register today on this webinar, you can take advantage of our special new student rate of only 2 monthly payments of just $97. It's taken me years to learn all of these lessons and to organize them in a course that takes you only 20 to 30 minutes a week on average. And it's guaranteed to double your productivity. I want you to take the shortcut that I'm giving you here through Wake Up Productive. So I've made it as affordable as I can if you're one of the people who's serious about your success. Through this webinar only, you can get immediate online access to Wake Up Productive and get started right away for just 2 payments of $97. Now to get started, just click on the registration button and you'll be taken to the registration page where you can enroll and get instant access and start doubling your productivity right now. You'll also see a button that will allow you to download the free ebook I promised you during our class today called How to Create a Digital Product That Sells Itself. Again, many of the students who have gone through Wake Up Productive have used their newfound productivity and time to build digital information businesses. That's why I'm giving you a copy of this ebook for free. Because once you've installed these 2 productivity habits, you'll have the superpower that you need to actually start a business online and succeed with it. And there's one more thing I want to say here. Remember when I said that I guarantee that if you learn and install these 2 habits in your life, that you'll double your productivity? With Wake Up Productive, you get an actual 100% money-back guarantee. When you register today, you get a full 90 days to try out and use the course. Okay, go through the whole thing. Implement all of the strategies and techniques in your life and your business. You will start seeing results very quickly. But you don't have to decide until the end if it's right for you. If you complete the course and you haven't doubled your productivity, or you don't think it's the best investment that you've made for any reason, all you have to do is show me your exercises, your homework, so I know that you completed the course, and I will give you 100% refund. Okay, I'll give you all your money back. And I'll also let you keep the entire course just for giving it a try. Again, I guarantee that you'll double your productivity with Wake Up Productive. All right, so let's hear a few more comments from others about what they've had to say going through Wake Up Productive. Having studied and utilized several personal productivity programs, without question, Wake Up Productive has provided me the most impactful and measurable results toward becoming highly productive on a consistent basis. That's Terry. Wake Up Productive isn't just another productivity product. It should be considered the productivity product. This is more than just time management. It's helped me change habits and routines to achieve a consistent, higher level of achievement while helping me unclutter my mind. That's from Steven. Somehow, it's as if I work less hours a day and yet I get much more done than I did before. I know it sounds crazy. I would think the same way a few months ago when I would read something like this. But really, Evan gave me a very good way to handle my time so I can work with much better focus and choose those things that bring me the best results for my business. Every day, I'm impressed about it again and again. That's from Robbie. Wake Up Productive gave me a systematic step-by-step instruction and tools on how to improve my physiology and mental focus. Each video in the program built upon earlier learning, and soon I was waking up excited about my day and the things I had planned. I can heartily recommend Wake Up Productive to anyone who feels they are not living up to their potential and sincerely want to achieve more. And by the way, I have pages and pages and pages of testimonials from people who have gone through Wake Up Productive and whose lives have changed because of it. So this is just a tiny fraction. Okay, so go ahead and click the button and enroll now. Get your $788 in bonus business growth and success courses from me, and take advantage of my 100% no-risk guarantee. Okay? And you can make your final decision in 90 days. And remember, by the end of that 90 days, you're going to wake up twice as productive. I guarantee it. You'll finally have that superpower that feels like you can slow down time to get a lot more done and have greater control over your life and your emotions. And even better, you'll learn how to be much more effective at getting the results that you want, whether that's getting more done, increasing your income, having more free time, having more time with your family, starting a new hobby, or anything else that you want. But it all starts right here. Okay, today, by taking control of the busyness and distractions that are stopping you from achieving your full potential. This is
Are you doing your lashes today or anything?
In your future.
I'm going to
These
the work.
two habits
Go
will
to
be
Gerard.
automatic.
Well, you might need to take the car because I think I'm just going to ride today.
So if that's something you want in your life, click the registration button, enroll today, and join me for the next 90 days.
I haven't decided that.
I guarantee that it'll double your profit.
Okay.
And remember, you'll also see a button below that will allow you to download the free ebook I promised during our class today called How to Create a Digital Product That Sells Itself. All right, thanks for your time. Register, get started now, and I'm looking forward to hearing your success story soon.